On behalf of Mirabel Technologies, magazine manager, the newspaper manager, my name is Ryan Dohrn, and very glad to have you here with us today. So let's kick things off. I think, Andy, I don't know, Andy, do you want to kick things off and just kind of welcome everybody, and then we'll get Mark, we'll start sharing your screen.
Hello, everyone. I just want to, thank everybody for showing up here. Hopefully you'll enjoy what Ryan described, a nice practical approach to showing you some existing features that you may not have been aware of, but more importantly, I think some great new features in terms of searching and segmenting and building opportunity pipelines in your sales funnel. So thanks for everyone for coming. Thank you, Ryan, for helping us out with this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, right on. That's great. So, all right, friends. So let's get started. And like I said, I've got Mark Hurt here, who is senior software consultant. I think that's the title. If it's something different, Mark, then just let me know.
That sounds good enough to me.
But glad to have you. Glad to have you here. And let's go ahead and get started as we talk through these strategies again today. So again, just friends, I'm sorry to say it twice. Just want to make sure we're real clear. That we are talking about Magazine Manager today as we talk through this, because that's the tool that we're going to use to show you how to build these lists. So most of you are already customers. So I just want to make sure we're real clear on that this isn't just a commercial. You were invited here for a very specific reason. So glad to have you here and talk through it. Okay, first and foremost. So Mark, if you don't mind pulling up Magazine Manager on the screen, that'd be awesome. And first and foremost, friends, you've heard me talk about lists for quite some time. And the list building piece of Magazine Manager, we really in the past have isolated that list to what you might refer to as contact groups. So Mark, if you maybe could pull up in just any contact record there, and then just show, maybe contact groups underneath on one of the records. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it quite yet on the screen.
Okay, so I need to reshare my second screen. I think I shared my first screen.
No problem. No problem.
I know how to screen options, so I'm going to actually move it over. How about here? Can you see this?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, excellent.
All right.
Okay, cool. So friends, and I'm going to put glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. There you go. So Ryan Dohrn, getting old, wearing glasses. Some of you knew me when I didn't have to wear glasses. So it's important to understand that one of the things that we've been doing for quite some time is using contact groups as a way for us to organize our lists. So what are the lists I'm talking about? Like your top 20 prospect list, your top 20 run of book list, or whatever that circumstance is that's there. And so when you think about these things, there's that top 20 ROB prospects, top 20 buyer's guide as an example. So in the past, what we would do is we'd say, okay, here's 6 or 8 people. I'm going to add them to this contact group. All the admins that are with us today, you'd go and make these contact groups. And all of us salespeople were like, oh, but I want a list that's Ryan's, buyer's guide list. I want a list that's Ryan's active list. I want a list that's Ryan's in progress list. And so I and others reached out to Magazine Manager and just said, hey, what can we do to create some functionality here so that we as salespeople, like us that are selling every day, what can we do to have these lists in front of us, manipulate the lists, use these lists for our benefit? And so what Mirabel Technologies come up with, which is great and very cool, is what is being referred to as advanced search. Okay, so here's what we want to do today. We're going to pretend, and friends, by the way, you can adjust your screen. Somebody asked about the screen. You can take my head at the top of the screen and make it a lot smaller, which is totally fine.
And Ryan, I'm going to try and see if I can't do monitor 2. There we go. I'm going to get it back onto the right monitor. And it should blow it up pretty good for everybody. Sorry about that. I just figured out how to do that.
Yeah, there we go. Excellent.
Right,
okay,
is that
right
better?
On. Yeah, that's great.
Great.
Yep,
okay.
That's great. Excellent. Okay, so where you used to build the contact groups through your admin there, you can see it under contact groups in the past. Now what we're going to do is start building some lists using the advanced search feature. So if we could, Mark, you can see here the advanced search. So right under your control panel, you've got that advanced search. And Mark and I are going to kind of kick this, around a little bit today. So first thing to notice is, everybody notice how you've got 740 contacts there on the left, 740 contacts. Okay, as we begin to build the list, so let's just say that we're going to build a list that's going to be related to a buyer's guide that we're going to put together. So we want to add contact records into this list, which is going to help me be a lot more organized in my prospecting, okay? As we select people to add to our list, so now we can create our own list. as we select people to add to our own list, we can use, for example, like the category dropdown. As I choose people based upon the category, like auto dealers, notice what happens. On the left, it went from 740, which is everybody, down to 4. Now, what's also cool, and we couldn't do this before, is now we're able to say, okay, let's also add auto detailers to the list. And now look, you've got 26 contacts on the list. Now, Mark, so one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit was the operators there. Does everybody see a little operators toggle switch that's there? Okay. So what's cool about the operators toggle switch is that as you're adding people to this list that you're going to create to help you be crazy kind of organized, you can choose, see where it says like or in between the two of them? You can choose and, or, you can turn them on, you can turn them off. But let me pause for a second, Mark. On the auto dealers or the automotive, turning it on and off, what am I missing there? So they can turn that on and off, right?
Yeah, they can actually say not equal to, or they can say equal to, or remove this criteria completely.
Right. So do you see as we go ahead? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. They're either in here or in here, but they're part of our 26.
Right. So see, guys, we went from 740 to 26. Now we can also add to this list if we wanted to. You could use priority. So if you've got a certain priority set on that, you could, however you have it set up now, you can do these, your priorities that are here. If you wanted to isolate people by county, by country, if you wanted to isolate people by zip code or find people by zip code, you can go then and you can type in the zip code equal to, ends with, starts with. You can also then go like under phone numbers if you wanted to maybe go and use the area code as an example. So starts with 954, there you go. Or ends with, or contains. So what we've got is the ability for us to create, if you will, sort of these fluid micro lists or sub lists. And what I love about it, guys, is as a salesperson, I don't got to call an admin. I don't got to call my boss. I don't got to call anybody. I mean, how many times are, this is going to sound kind of funny for all you ad directors and publishers that we as salespeople are like, oh man, why don't you just shove me into your little silo and make me operate here like I'm a hamster? I want some control. And now you got the control. Although some publishers now are probably like, what? We're losing control. No, you're giving us as salespeople such cool control. All right, so let's just say we're happy with what we have from an isolation perspective. But let me pause for a minute because I'm kind of new to this piece of it. I've been using it. I love it. But Mark, what else here in this little dashboard where we search, what are some other things that we might do, should do, could do from your perspective? Anything you've missed?
Well, for example, if you want to contact these people, these are people generically as you put into a high level industry or some other contact group. But if you then want to further target people based on the last time you've had particular activities, calls, or notes with them, maybe inactivity within a certain date range, a particular reps activity. So you could layer on top of that of these people, let's further detail or target in who have or have not contacted. And even further, we could even say of these people, I'd like to focus on people where we consider sales information, whether they've expired or who have ever run in a particular product or a group of products inside of a business unit. So we can also do activity as well as the flagging and tagging. We can also search by inactive or activity or based on what people ran or didn't run, layering all that together in our search criteria.
So how cool is that, guys, for us to be able to say, how many times have you been like, hey, okay, I need to retain some people or reach out to people that ran this exact same time last year. You can go and build a list of those people using advanced search. And we'll show you how to save the list so you can pull it back up quickly. And we'll show you how to manipulate the list in a second. But look, I mean, here, so anybody that had orders between, say, just go ahead and pick a date,
June. This time last year.
Yeah, there you go. And then you can add that then to the list, and it's going to show you up at the top how many people are actually in that list. So there's 21 contacts that match all of this particular criteria, which then helps you then go and create these lists. Now, ad directors, publishers, sales managers, leaders, we'll call you leaders. How's that? Do you feel better? Leaders out there. This is something that you might consider doing in your weekly one-on-ones or in strategy meetings. You're like, okay, guys, bring your computers here. let's build these lists. I need you guys to go after everybody that ran this same time last year that's in these categories that meets these specific criteria. You build that list and you can begin to work that list. And you can see how the list grows or shrinks as you're continuing to build that list. What else, Mark, am I missing here? Because that's a good one. What else on the production data piece or any of the custom fields might we be searching for?
Well, here's a very nice data point in the billing and financial section of the company record. There's a date field called the budget plan field. That field is really powerful when you're talking to your advertiser, and you get a month that every year that, you know, we're a fiscal company, we really lock down our ad budget spending right around mid to the end of September, because our fiscal year maybe earlier than that. So you could put a budget plan date in for every customer, and then search for people where they are between a date range of their budget plan year, allowing you to talk to them during the sweet spot of them talking about their own ad budgeting for the upcoming period.
Perfect. That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's just say for a second here that some of you are not users and you've joined us, you know, from another promotion or something, and you're like, wow, this is where it's at, guys. The reason that it's here is because those sales reps that are organized in their sales life. Now, your car might look like a homeless person lives in your car, okay? But in your sales life, I have found the more organized that you are, the more successful you are. What this is what I like to call dangerously cool, because it allows us to be uber organized. Let me be quite honest with you guys for a second. In my personal life, I'm moderately random. I'm a creative guy. I've got a guitar sitting here that I'm trying to learn to play. I'd like to just kind of freewheel it. I don't even know where I'm going to go to dinner tonight or what cocktail I'm going to have. I just know it's going to have alcohol in it. So I'm, you know, moderately just kind of freewheeling. But when it comes to my sales life, the day that I got organized, I saw sales growth of 30 to 40%. When I am coaching people and they're calling me like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? First thing I talk about is lists. What are your lists? You know? So, okay. So I guess let's go ahead and save that. Let's save that list and
Okay.
let's go ahead and look at the list. Okay. All right. So we got 21 people on the list. Here's our list. And then here's a feature, the split screen that over here on the right. Okay. Everybody see here on the right, the split screen. All right. So let's click there. Now, some of you, just that split screen, you're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that existed. Okay. So what that's called is lack of training. Okay. Pay attention. Okay. So what we want to do, and I want to be able to see my list. I want to be able to work my list, and I want to be able to see who these people are. Now, Mark, if you don't mind, because I kind of like the 4-step, I believe, process you have. Every
Uh-huh.
time you go to a record, you do like 4 things. If you wouldn't mind explaining that.
Sure, sure, Ryan. So when I talk to our sales professionals and we look at the split screen mode, you know, I generalize it and I say, no matter what your search list is, we can always convert the search list to a call list. Every sales professional has 4 due diligence steps that you perform on every sales call. Step number 1, you research. Step number 2, you document the call. Step number 3, hey, well, I've got you on the phone. Let's update your contact information. And finally, the due diligence step number 4 is we never hang up a sales call without scheduling the following call. So the split screen this mode allows you to do all 4 steps in one centralized area while being able to efficiently go from account to account to account. In this first example here, I'm calling Lynn. And before I call in, I'm going to review my notes and activities and calls and mass emails and everything. Ring, ring, ring. Hello. Hi, Lynn. Yeah, this is Mark. I'm talking to you. I'm noting your account right now while we're talking. Step number 2, document the account. Lynn, well, I've got you on the phone. Oh, you have a new email address. Here, let me add or update your contact information. Due diligence step number 3. Thank you for your time today, Lynn. Let's go ahead and schedule a follow-up call back. Go to the call, pick your future date and time, the 29th, and we're going to talk about more salesy stuff on that call. All right.
Right.
Thank you for your time today, Lynn. Bye-bye. And then go to the next account, doing the 4 due diligence steps in a very efficient area where you're targeting a high value targeted list.
Right. That's awesome. Now, where do we name that list? This list that we just created, where do we name that?
All right, so in order to name the list, we're going to be acting on the list, so we need to get out of split screen mode so that we can take actions on the list. I want to select everybody on my list, and I just want to create a static list. And what do we want to call our list here, Ryan?
Buyer's Guide. Let's call it Buyer's Guide.
Buyer's Guide, okay, and we're going to save that list.
Okay, cool. All right, so that's called a static list, friends. Okay, so we're saving that static list. Okay, now managers for a second, if you wouldn't mind going to split screen mode for just a second. Managers that are on the call, leaders on the call. So when I'm in my one-on-ones with the rep and we've talked to them about the buyer's guide, they've created their list, okay? What I'm gonna do is I wanna walk this list with them every single time that we get together. One of the problems with one-on-ones and why all of us reps don't really care to meet with you one-on-one, it's not because we don't like you. Well, in some cases, that's questionable. It's not that we don't like you. We're having fun on a Friday afternoon, okay?
Here, here.
Lighten up a little bit, people, okay? What we want to do as a leader is we want to be able to work these lists because it's predictable. When you set an agenda for your one-on-ones and you're using this as a predictable part of your one-on-ones, then I as a sales rep know what we're going to review, what we're going to look at, and then as a team, we're working on things that are similar. And here in a second, we're going to show you the opportunities module where we can actually manage these people, create opportunities, and then use them to forecast before a proposal is ever even created. Now, here's another cool thing about the list. So we've just walked through how we can work this list and walk down through. If you don't mind, go out of split screen mode for me there, Mark, if you would. And then there's several other things that we can do at this point. Let's just say as an example, we like the list, we're happy with it, and we want to send an email to all of those people. Now there's a process to this, obviously. We're not going to get into a lot of detail. But you can obviously use MailChimp through the integration with Magazine Manager, the newspaper manager, or then you might have the integration already with Mirabelle's Marketing Manager. Now, if you do have that, I use that tool. The emails you receive from me come through the Marketing Manager. That's integrated and built right in. So if you're not aware, Magazine Manager has the Marketing Manager, and those two pieces work together. Why is this important? It's important because as you email these people in a mass way and they come back to your website, they visit a media kit or whatever, you're able then to track these advertisers that you put on the list. As long as you put the cookie on your website from the Marketing Manager, you're able to track where did this person go. So we got the top person there from Fort Lauderdale. Let's see, a Lynn Mabry as an example. Okay, cool. If Lynn opens the email that you send to this list and your Marketing Manager integration is complete, which is super easy to do, by the way, then you're able to see where does Lynn go on your site. Is she looking at the media kit? Is she looking at a particular content page? What is she looking at? And then you can actually go and see where she's been, which gives you some good sales intelligence as a way to be able to communicate with her more effectively. Here's what I use it for. If one of you guys gets an email from me and you go and you click on the podcast, I pull the numbers on the podcast. If you like a particular article, I can tell, and it allows me to sell to you more efficiently. You sales leaders that are out there, if you come to my website 3 or 4 times, it's not a coincidence that you get another email from me. I know that you're interested in some capacity. Okay, so you've got these. Also, there's other things you can do there. So you could export this list. So on the right is creating the list. And then you've got the export feature that's there from the right. Mark, what's the main things when you export something? What's the main things in your mind you would envision that people would do with exporting that list?
Well, anytime, honestly, Ryan, anytime anybody, any of our sales users say, hey, I want to export my list from Magazine Manager, I always follow up with that question first and foremost. Why do you want to export it? Some people just like a printed copy they can just make notes on and go down, or a call list or things like that. And then when those kind of conversations happen, I generally try to get them not to necessarily export it and work the split screen mode, making notes and doing that kind of stuff like that.
Fair enough.
From a sales professional, some people who are not using MailChimp, so they can't use the send email this way for the integration or Marketing Manager, they may want this high value targeted list exported and then give it to their marketing department so they can import it into another third party mass email send program.
Right. Yep, no, makes sense. Question here, can you create email marketing campaigns specific to your list views, and can those campaigns be trackable to view success? Yeah, Manuel, good question, absolutely. And that's sort of like what I was talking about. I like to use that feature a lot. Now, keep in mind, friends, during COVID here, everybody's sending emails. So I like a personal approach, as well on that. Now, another cool thing. So you've got your contact groups. You've already created them. You followed my advice. Thank you for that. and you're like, hey, Ryan, can I take this list and add it to a contact group? And the answer is yes. So under that batch update feature there, you'd click there, and then you would go and check, where do you want to add it? Do you want to add it to a particular group, priority, where is it? And you can then export this list that you have over to one of your contact groups. Remember, you used to have to do it one by one, now you don't. So you can add them to the contact group. Now you can also create a list that you want removed. So here we're going to add it to the buyer's guide. You can remove the list of people.
Yep. So we could add all these folks in mass to the buyer's guide, or we can remove anybody who's currently in the buyer's guide from the buyer's guide. So the search results will allow you to mass add and mass remove from, mass manage your contact groups.
Right. And so, friends, I hope what you're seeing here is that your ability to create these lists, because here's what I want you to consider doing. So I might want a retention list. So maybe I'm going to create a list of clients for me that I want to retain on a regular basis. Some of you have asked about what are the lists that I use. So the main list that I use, I don't know why I looked at my notes because I know them. The main list that I use, like a top 20 run of book list. That's people that they qualify to run a book. They can run anytime. Then I might have a top 20 events list. I've got my list of active people, which you don't really need this to pull actives. You can do that in a little easier way, but you could do that. People I want to retain, people that are in progress. One of the things that I do is I create a list that's called in progress, and I'll delete the list and refresh it on a regular basis. But what I like to do is I want to make sure that I'm never missing follow-ups, because sometimes we forget to put our stuff in notes in the system. Now, the other thing, though, if you don't mind going to the split screen view for a brief second, one of the things that I like to do is I like to also in my notes recognize, if you go to notes there, and then if you just put your cursor in the notes area, okay, so if you put your cursor there, and you don't have to do this, Mark, but if you're on a Mac and you click on a Mac, you click function, you can begin to dictate through your microphone right into the notes box. You don't have to type for those that want that. The other thing I love is I use the app. So where'd my phone go? I don't even know. Jason Mraz was singing from it. Okay. Is that I'm going to pull up the app, and then I'm able to go to the app, and I'm able to go down to the app, and I'm able to very easily talk into the app, especially if you're out in the field, trade shows, if we get back to those, that'd be awesome, etc. Sometimes I'm just so lazy that it's easier to pull up the app and talk into it. So if you're on a PC, you can use transcription tools like Dragon. Sometimes the Outlook tools will work as well. But that's just another little shortcut there for you as well.
So
Okay.
Windows H, just to let you know, for the Windows users, there is a Windows H, which is Windows dictation built in. This will launch the dictation app as well. And you can also in Windows browsers dictate your notes here.
Yeah, for sure. We got a question here. Can you use the list to email through Gmail somehow as a batch? And so from Cindy, hey Cindy, 2 days in a row, Cindy, on webinars. How about that? Cool, Cindy. Thanks for the question. So the answer is yes, but there's a caveat. So the answer would be yes, you can. So Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. So I would actually go out of split screen view. I would have my list, select all. I would then export, correct, to get that into Excel. Then I would take it. It's just not going to sync up for you, Cindy, is the only thing. There's going to be no tracking of that, correct, Mark? If you export
Right.
the list and use Gmail.
Right. The only tracking of emails is if you ever send it out through Marketing Manager mass email or through the integrated MailChimp. That's the only way you're going to get any kind of tracking.
Right. So you could then, Cindy, using various plugins, you could actually import the list from Excel and do it individually, or you could just do a BCC on the list. Keep in mind, friends, small is the new big. Smaller the list, the better the response rate, typically as it relates to it. Kind of looking at my notes of what we're going to cover there, Mark. I think that we covered anything. Mark, Andy, what did we miss? Am I missing anything on the advanced search?
Well, we showed them how to create their static list on the fly. We created that list. Where do we go use the list? If I want to use that static list, that create list we just did, you would actually go, from the search, so you go to the search, go to your advanced search. That saved list that we just created is over here under saved searches. This is where you're going to commonly come to your today's callbacks anyway, work in your callback list. But this is a static list, my list, and here's that buyer's guide that we just created. So this is how you're going to go back to that list later after you've initially created it, is from the advanced search screen here, go to saved searches, and then it's at the bottom under my lists.
Excellent. Okay, so friends, did everybody catch that? So from your dashboard, you're going to see normally advanced search, or I'm sorry, search.
Right, so let's
And
start from the beginning. Yep, so
yeah,
I've
cool.
logged in and I want to use my list I just created. So I'm first going to go to search, because yes, we do come into the dashboard here. I'm going to go to search, advanced search, saved searches, all the way to the bottom. Here are my static saved lists, and just click it to use it. Split screen mode, call it. Not in split screen mode, select all, email it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, somebody was asking about the dictation feature. So the dictation feature is not a Mirabelle magazine manager, newspaper manager feature. On the Mac, you would, if you have a newer Mac, you would click function and have to turn it on. And then if you're on a PC, there's various different tools that you could use. Dragon,
Yeah.
dictation is probably one of the most popular. Do you know of any others, Mark, on the
Well,
on the
this one that I just referred to is actually built into the Windows 10 operating system, so you don't need a third-party piece of software. Windows H. When you do Windows H, you're going to get this little guy right here that pops up at the top, and you're telling it, you might have to give it permission to use the microphone, whatever. But once I start activating the microphone, this is a native part of the operating system. I can dictate into any text field that I'm in.
Everybody catch that? Okay, so
Windows H.
yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And then someday, if you want to join us, cool kids, buy a Mac. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Friends, I think it's important as we talk about the list to understand the organizational aspects of being successful. So let me share with you very briefly. 11 o'clock every day, unless I'm on the road, which is not as much right now. 11 o'clock every day, I'm working my top 20 prospect list. I'm doing that also again at 4 o'clock. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm working my retention list. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm always working my in progress list. If I've got an event that's coming up, I'm going to build a list for myself here in the events piece, and I'm going to be able to follow up on that event. So I'm using these various lists to get me organized, and it has been an absolute game changer for me. Don't forget, you guys see the little operators area right there? Okay, if it's not blue, you're not going to be able to do the and or as you add the lists. So you make sure you want to absolutely make sure that turns it on. Somebody chatted across that they're not seeing some of these features. I guess it's possible that that their admin has not turned it on. Is that possible?
Well, no, the operators, this should be here for any user. These are the advanced operators. What particular features are they not seeing? It
So
should be
maybe
real time and live for them.
So I think what I would do for the person that asked that, in the bottom corner of your magazine manager screen is that little handy dandy little floating help button down there. And I would click on that, and then I would go from there to follow one of those tools to submit a ticket or whatever the circumstance is.
Live chat. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I forgot about the live chat. Is that the easiest way to get a hold of you, Mark? Just get on live chat?
Well, the live chat is operated during regular business hours, staffed
Nice.
by some chat folks. If you have a quick question, you don't want to go through scheduling an appointment, whatever, just a quick chat. And then if the chat gets too involved, the chat operator will advise you to schedule or reach out to your consultant for further discussion.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, cool. Hey, we've got 4 questions. Let's answer them, and then we'll move on to the opportunities module. Question here from Tim. Can I create custom tags that can be also used inside of the advanced search? How would we, if we want to do custom tags, I guess that would mean adding an attribute, so to speak, to an individual record, I think that maybe is what you're meaning.
Maybe. I mean, a custom tagging mechanism is your contact group mechanism. So you could create a contact group as that custom tag and put people in it. The good thing about the contact group is that one contact can belong to one or more groups. So this is the custom tagging mechanism that is generally advised to use for a scenario like that. Now you
Okay.
can, for whatever reason, you can set up custom fields, custom contact fields. If you want a little bit more like a drop-down selectable list or something like that, there are two ways you could do that. Most straightforward would likely be the contact group just for a tagging system. Otherwise, any sort of custom field for predefined drop-downs or other things like that. But those are the two mechanisms you can use. And notice that they are here available in the advanced search.
Right on. Another next question here. It just went away for some reason. Let me pull it back up here. Here we go. If we use BCC in Gmail for a batch, we export it and use our Magazine Manager BCC email. Is there a way for it to log the email into the account or record? So, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're sending out an email to yourself and you're BCCing your client, and so you're putting 16 people in that BCC, and then you're putting Magazine Manager in there, it's not going to sync correctly
Right.
that way.
Right, because
So,
the BCC looks at the to field.
right,
That's
correct.
why.
So it's not going to do that. So here's what
Right.
you would potentially do. Oh, hey, Brenda. What you would do, Brenda, on that particular one is there are several tools. I don't have them off the top of my head right now, but there's several email plugins that are Chrome extensions. Chrome's got the best extensions out there right now that allow you with Gmail to import an Excel list, and it will actually, then you can designate what you want in the to box and what you want in the BCC box. So search for that or drop me an email. There's a tool out there that does it. I just don't have the exact name of the tool in front of me on this. Question here from Shannon. I may have missed it, but can you clone lists and then make edits as needed to those lists?
So in our advanced, so when we go to the saved searches, this is that static list that we have here. Currently, you can manage the list by adding or removing people from the list, but there's not a copy and save as kind of thing, like retain the original but give me a copy to do something else. That is a great feature enhancement because this whole create the static list is so brand new. This feature is going to grow. So ideas like that in fact today it does not work, please put in a wish list ticket and let our development team know so that we can quantify and prioritize additional
Right.
features like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
I do too.
Last one here, and then we'll move on to the opportunities from Manuel. Can you link your lists, these lists here, to your dashboard as an actionable item?
So the dashboards here, that when you log in for this dashboard, this is intended as your 35,000 feet summary view. As I log in today, oh, look, I've got some phone calls, I've got some opportunities in my sales pipeline, but this entire dashboard is not designed to be an actionable dashboard.
Okay, yeah. But the nice thing is that you're just basically 2 clicks away. So you go to search, and then it's going to be advanced search, and then it's there at the bottom. So 1, 2, 3.
Calls,
again, though,
callbacks, everything.
Again, though, hey guys, I mean, why is advanced search available? It's not because of Ryan Dohrn, it's because of people like all of us. There are sales reps out there that are putting in these wish lists. So drop it in, and if I promise you this, if it's something that's moderately easy to do, you're going to see those kind of things, pop up in the in the
and
future.
as long as enough people are asking for the same thing, that's the other caveat. It's got to, you know what I mean? Got to have because we're not custom software, we get hundreds of good ideas every month, and we just have to quantify them, figure out who's asking for what so that we can prioritize our development resources.
No, right on. Makes sense. Okay. All right, friends. Very cool. Forgive us if we got to move on for sake of time, but those are great. Those are great questions. Okay. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is another highly customizable piece. It's under, let's see, what's it under? What's opportunities under? Under marketing?
Marketing.
Okay. There's a new drop down called opportunities, and some of you have used it. It's marked with the new box, and you're going to love it. You're going to just absolutely flip out in a very positive way, friends, when you see this. Okay, so let's do a little background here, and I'll be brief, I promise. It's hard for me to be brief, but I'll be brief. Okay, remember when you're doing your forecasting and you really can't get your forecasts are basically reliant upon, do you have a proposal in the system or not? If you don't have a proposal in the system, your boss is like, hey, you got to get the proposal in because I needed to update the forecast. So forecasts are directly related in the past to exactly what proposals are already in the system. Are we with me on that? Okay, so we've got so much other things that we're doing, it's difficult for us to keep track of the various opportunities that are floating out there in sales land And so our boss or whoever is like, hey, we've got a summer camp guide, or the buyer's guide we're using. We got a buyer's guide coming up, and I need to know how much business you've got in the buyer's guide. Well, in the past, the only way you could do that to see it on a forecast was to put a proposal in the system. And you're like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to put a proposal in because I haven't proposed the business yet. Okay, from an organizational perspective, now we've got this opportunities module. All right, so when you go to the opportunities module, you're going to see all the opportunities that you've created here in this cool widget, dashboard, UI, whatever you want to call it. Now, you're able to set up, so we've got our opportunities marked like this: qualification, first meeting, initial negotiations, sales proposals, whatever. And you can, and those customized on Mark, on a rep level, or those columns customized on an admin level?
They're customized for the entire site.
Okay, so they're an admin level customization. So get together with the sales team. How do we want our silos here to look? And you're only going to see yours as it relates here. So these silos that you see. Now, what's cool, and then we'll show you how to do it. What's cool is, let's just say, if you go all the way to the far left there, Mark, let's just say you've gone from somebody that's qualified and then you had a first meeting. Okay, so watch, boom, we drag it across, and boom, now we've dropped into the first meeting. I mean, see, that's sweet. Now, if you didn't have a chance, I think I heard it through cyberspace. I heard people say, sweet. Okay, so let's say that first one, we had a first meeting with them, and now we're starting to negotiate with them. So then we can take that opportunity, drag it over to the negotiation stage. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, friends, is notice the bottom updates. Okay, so Mark, if you don't mind, if you could drag that one back. So we're at 30,000. We drag it back. We're at 17,000. So we see that on the bottom, how it updates. So you can drag that back across automatically.
In this column. Yep.
Automatically.
Right.
Okay, so managers, what you're able to do then is be able to pull your reports, your forecast reports. It'll show you booked business, and then you're able to go in and pull based on opportunities as we've created. And we're going to show you how to do that. You're able to showcase, you're able to pull a report for a forecast based on the opportunity. So for example, the buyer's guide. So as we create opportunities and we mark them as buyer's guide, which we're going to show you, your sales reps are able to work them through the various stages of the sale. And then you're able to see who's in which stage, and you're able to see how much is forecast in each one of those stages. Everybody with me on that? Now, if you don't think that's cool, then you're cold-hearted and you've not been in sales very long. That's all I can say. Because this is super important, okay?
Yeah.
Now, those of you that are using Magazine Manager, been in sales 30 years like me, you're like, wow, absolutely, this is very, very cool. Okay, so let's first start out by talking to you how to create an opportunity. You're in a sales meeting. The boss is like, hey, we're going to do the buyer's guide. Nothing's really in the system about it. Maybe you've got a rate card in the system for it already, but we're doing the buyer's guide. Get back to your desk or whatever. And then you're going to start creating opportunities. So what do you think is the quickest path to get to the opportunities? Is it go marketing opportunities and create a new one, or what do you think is the easiest path, Mark, to get to it?
Depends on where I am. I mean, if I'm already in the company record and I know that they're part of the opportunity, or they're part of this, I can add a new opportunity. Create an opportunity here is one of two ways to do it. The other place to create an opportunity is if I'm already in the opportunities interface, I can create a new opportunity up here in the upper left, and then search for the company and create it that way.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, let's go back one step. You don't have to go back one step, Mark. Let's go back one step. In your mind, you got the list. Okay. You work in a list. You reach out to somebody and you're like, wow, okay, this is a person I think would be an actually really good an opportunity for them. And so we've got, here it is, a little taste of purple. It's a great opportunity. Summer Buyer's Guide is the opportunity name. Now, managers out there, okay, everybody needs to use some similar names here, but even if it's not exactly perfect, it's okay, because we're going to show you in a second. You'll just search by summer and you'll see it anyway. So there's the contact name. All right, so we're creating an opportunity to add to our list. All right, status of it, it's open. It hasn't been won or lost. Cool part, guys. If you actually lose the business, which we hope you don't, you're going to mark that as a lost opportunity, give a reason why. It's going to impact the forecast, and you'll see it. What stage are you at based upon how you set up your silos? Qualification, first meeting, or whatever. So let's just say initial negotiations. Okay, the amount of it, say, is $2,500. Just as an example, all right? Probability right now in that stage. Let's just say you're at a 50-50 sort of crapshoot on that, just as an example, 50-50, okay? Now, these are not required per se, but you can add them in. What's the opportunity type? Is this going to be a cold call, whatever it is? Renewal, whatever it is. Business unit is whatever you have it set up as. However, you have your business unit set up as. You don't have to select the business unit, but you could. The product is probably pretty important. So if it's the main magazine or whatever, whichever
Yep,
one.
that Summer's Buyer's Guide is in the Organic Delights product. So we want to select the product for the buyer's guide. That's what we
Yep.
want to do there.
Right. And so then you could also choose the projected close date. If you have a close date on that particular issue that you need to have it closed by, then you would choose that date and you'd put it there. And so there you go. I mean, that's it. And that's how you create that. So you put in some notes or whatever, and you would save that. What was that called? A little taste of something? What was it
A
called?
little taste of purple.
Little taste of purple. Okay, so
Now
where do
we
we
have
see
an
that?
we have it. So we see the opportunity now in two places. In a little taste of purple under the opportunities, that opportunity that we selected up through the opportunities interface now appears as part of an opportunity from within the company record. And then I also can find that opportunity now if I want to do a search for all of my opportunities with an opportunity name containing summer. There we go. And then I
Right.
search for all of my open opportunities. Sorry, what stage status? Open opportunities that have the word summer in the opportunity name. And here's my opportunity pipeline for that sales summer's buyer guide. Summer, summer, summer. Everything's going to have summer in here.
Anything that's got summer in it. So guys, just
Right.
remember, I mean, anything that's going to have summer in it, by putting that parentheses or percent in front of it makes it a wildcard search. Now you could do just summer buyer. I mean, if you did summer buyer's guide perfectly, you'd get that, but that's going to isolate it just a little bit better if you want to do it like that. So just remember, everybody's got to type the opportunity name in this, whatever it's called in the same way.
Right.
Okay, so as you begin to work this person, then you can change in the contact records. If you'll go back to a little touch of purple for me, awesome. And so as you begin to, you can edit then the opportunity, and you don't have to go to the opportunities tab. So you could click here by the name, and then you can go in and change either the status, the stage that it's in. You could actually change the amount if you needed to. Maybe you proposed 1,500, they came back with 500, whatever. And you can change that right there as well. And then it's going to update that, and there it is. So it's got your
We
update
have an
there.
audit trail too. There's an audit trail, a history of that opportunity. So as you first create it, as it moves through the stages, as you change elements, we have this timeline of the opportunity audit trail of how it came to be won, or what did it go through as it was lost. That everything is here for the history of that opportunity.
Right. Okay, so before we get to the forecasting piece, because that's what all the managers are asking about, let's go back and let's review this again, and we'll do it, in a moderately slow fashion for everybody. Okay, you're sitting in a sales meeting. The boss lady says to your man, the boss, just in general, says, "Hey guys, it's time for us to do the summer's buyer's guide." Okay. Now it's not that you can't create a contact group for it. As a matter of fact, maybe you should, or whatever. It's up to you. What we're saying is the first step then is for you to build a list of people that you believe would be quite good for the summer's buyer's guide. And you would use the advanced search feature that we reviewed to be able to go in, and then you would say, hey, I want to build a list. I'm starting with 740. I believe that under the category automotive and auto detailing, these are the perfect people for this particular list. And here's our list of people. Okay. And so as we begin to work these people, and we've created the group, and we've created a name for the group, etc. Then that's up to you.
Yep.
All right. So let's just say, just as an example, that you're on not the little touch of purple, but somebody else. So there you go. You can go on that one. Great.
Okay, so we'll go into their account.
Yeah, you go into somebody else that doesn't have one. Let's
Sure.
just say that, okay, so BMW is perfect for it. Okay, perfect for your summer buyer's guide. And you're like, hey, okay, so I've got an opportunity to track. So you would click on the plus symbol, and then you begin to fill out the opportunity, summer buyer's guide, okay, as an opportunity. And you begin to fill out the information. As Mark is filling that out, I'll just remind you, sales managers, you're going to be, whether they call it summer buyer guide or summer guide, you're going to be able to pull your forecast based on the word summer anyway. So unless you've got multiple things called summer, you're going to be good to go. It's going to be fine. It's in the Organic Delights product. You got the projected close date, etc. Now, friends, you don't want to do this in a batch process. And the reason you don't want to do it in a batch process is because then you got to go back in and edit all the individual records. Don't ask for it. Don't do it. I know it sounds smart. Don't do it like that, because this is all pre-proposal business. So don't batch it or ask to batch it and then have to go in and edit all these things. You want to think about it, put it in correctly.
Yeah.
Because if you try to batch into this, you're going to batch everybody at 50%. It's not going to be right. Don't even ask for it. It doesn't make sense to do it like that. So, okay, so you've got the opportunity presented as it is. If you would, please, Mark, go over to the opportunities tab and we'll see that. So here's your opportunities. And
Let's
then
refresh it.
refresh it, cool. And then in my one-on-ones, friends, leadership out there, my one-on-ones, I'm going to pull this screen up. I'm going to have a second monitor. I'm going to spin it around, or maybe you're still doing Zoom. You're not in the office and you want to see where these people are, and you can move them around between the various stages that they are. This gives you a dashboard of the opportunities as they are. Now, if you want to see just the opportunities for Summer's Buyer's Guide, you would go under up a search. You're going to then type in the opportunity name, and then that's how it's going to pull, those up. So now when you do, you might want to search for it pretty close to what it is, but you could just do @summer like that and click search. And then that's going to pull up just, there you go, cool. And
Yeah.
here we go. These are everybody like that, okay? And then as
Yeah.
I'm coaching people, I'm looking at, okay, what are you doing? What have you said? You might say, no way, man, is that 90%? You are wrong, because most salespeople, yeah, you're overly optimistic, okay? Stop being that. Be a realist, okay? Don't be overly optimistic. If you're a half glass full kind of person, okay, just remember, be a realist. Somebody's going to have to wash the glass, okay? All right. So when you look through this and think about this, okay, now you as a manager, managers are like, oh man, okay, so what's my forecast? Well, there's your forecast on the bottom based upon the various stages that are there. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, because I don't play manager very often. I do like to do that, but not very often. So I'm a manager and I want to see the forecast in a report for the various stages. I'm able to go and pull a forecast report based upon that and see it in a dashboard someplace, or what's the best way for me to do that?
So we do have some opportunity reporting that are getting finalized now, more robust opportunity reporting. Right now, the kind of opportunity reporting you might want to search for is based on everybody with the name here, with the particular stage, statuses that are all open, and then be able to see that list. And then once you get to the opportunity list here, though, this list can be displayed as the split screen, as a report type format here, where you could look at your percentages and everything. And if you wanted to print or filter down for all open, one created, my
Yeah.
opportunities, there's a lot of different ways to do this and get that. We are building out more robust opportunity reporting for answering some of that kind of questions here. I believe our dev team does have a few reports currently being tested, finally to be released pretty soon.
Yeah, cool.
More
All right, so
robust
let's
reporting.
answer one of the questions here that Kathleen posed. Can those opportunities be converted to a contract? And the answer is yes, ma'am. So Mark, if you would show kind of what that conversion would look like.
Sure. So let me take it from the proposal. So right here, these are a sales proposal. This is, the final negotiations, or when the contract is sent to the client. All right. That contract sent to the client is Magazine Manager's proposal, right, guys? So when I'm ready, this thing is contract sent to the client. What I want to do when I send that proposal, I'm going to create the proposal in Magazine Manager, do what I normally do here. When that proposal is created and sent, I want to tie this proposal to that opportunity. So I'm going to use proposal number, whatever is on the company record. I'm going to edit that opportunity. When it's in the proposal stage, I'm going to go to the proposal. Hang on a second. Let me go grab that one. Okay, so I've got a proposal in the proposal stage. When I go to the proposals tab here are all of the unconverted proposals that's sitting on the company record. pick the proposal that ties to this opportunity, scroll to the bottom and save it. That's how you're going to tie this opportunity to that sales proposal. And then that proposal is either going to be won or it's going to be lost. They're going to sign it, send it back, and you're going to win it, drag, drop, win, and then it automatically closes the opportunity and everything is good. Or you're going to send them that signable contract, and for whatever reason, maybe you're going to lose the deal. You're going to lose this opportunity. If that were the case, then you're going to go close lost. And if you lose it, you have to select a loss reason and put in a loss note in order to fully close out that opportunity as
Right.
either won or lost.
So Kathleen, I think what you might have been asking is, can you take an opportunity, click one button to create a proposal? And the answer is no, and you actually
Right.
don't want to do that. You actually do want to create a proposal because the proposal pieces that you're picking are tied to the rate cards and magazine manager, and the opportunities module is not going to have all that pieces and parts that you need there. So
That's
you
right.
create the proposal, you go over to the opportunity and you just say, this is the proposal that links to that person. You
Right.
click save, and then it's going to automatically put it in proposed business. Then you drag it to won or you drag it to lost. Okay,
Right.
is how you would do that. Shannon asked a question: can there be a hyperlink to quickly access a report that drives the dashboard? The answer is yes, but let me give you the hiccup. So you can create a bookmark in Chrome or whatever to anything that's inside of Magazine Manager, but there's not going to be a hyperlink on the main page of Magazine Manager. So you can hyperlink to something in Mag Manager, but you can bookmark it in your regular bookmarks. That's the correct way to say it, correct? Right, Mark?
Yeah,
On
and
that?
then from here, honestly, when you log in, there is, as soon as you log for the dashboard, you are one button click, it's taking you straight to managing the opportunities with this middle more button right here.
Yeah.
So as soon as you log in, I mean, you got to log in anyway to do anything. So as soon as you log in, let's call that a bookmark, and here's your opportunities right on your screen.
Right. Kathleen asked, is that total amount or per ad amount? Do you mean, Kathleen, maybe give me a little clarification. Do you mean, is it total amount in the opportunity, or do you mean total amount at the bottom? So maybe just give me a little clarification on that. Kim says, I only have 4 stages beginning with initial contact, and I love it. I think that the simpler it is, the better. Will you have an opportunity for each individual product, or can you select multiple products? Shannon is asking inside the opportunity module. So you really wouldn't want to probably select multiple products, but you could choose business unit and product. Some of you don't have your business unit piece set up right. So your product might be ABC Magazine. Your business unit would be all zones, or it would be the product showcase or digital only or something along those lines.
So let me speak to real quick to that.
Yeah,
The business unit is managed by your local admin. You guys can build as many business units as you want, and you can call them whatever you want. And you can include any of the individual products that you want. So now that we have a new feature, a new strategy inside Magazine Manager, your admin team might want to set up a specific group of business units just for opportunities, where other business units are set up for accounting because that's the way they want to bill that group of products. You can set up other business units because that's the way you want to track this group of products for sales and prospecting.
yeah, indeed, indeed. Let's see, Ed was asking about, can we create the opportunity from the customer record directly? Yes, so that's what you just scroll down the record until you get to the opportunities. Mark, there have a lot of people saying they don't see opportunities in their Magazine Manager setup. Is it possible that it's turned off by the admin? Is that something that's possible?
If they don't see the opportunities under marketing as opportunities, the other place that it was before is under report suite opportunities here. Try looking for it here too. This is the way it originally was before we did a menu, kind of a restructure on this menu, and we added the opportunities under marketing, but historically, you might also find it under report suite and opportunities.
Right, right. We may not, friends, I think there's just a lot of questions. We may not have time for all of them. We got one more thing that we want to show you as relates to it. So let's just do that real quickly, and then we'll come back. And if you want to stay on, friends, we'll answer the the questions. One of the other things, especially from a management perspective, it's really sweet, that's been updated, is the ability for you to get a 30,000-foot view of everything that's happening within the opportunities in sales. So you go to reports, dashboards, and opportunities, and you've got an awesome dashboard that is now available to you. So you'll notice here that you'll see the data. You can go to this dashboard. You're able to choose the year, the product, the business unit, and then you're able to see in a beautiful formatted dashboard here of what all those opportunities look like, the number of customers, number of products, reps, the number of your business units. We've never had this opportunity to see like this before in such a gorgeous dashboard without exporting to a different dashboard tool set. Now we've got the opportunity to see all the amounts. If you scroll down the various product breakdowns, it's all in one place. And the beautiful thing about this is you can move things around, you can select what you want to see. And so managers and publishers, from a leadership perspective now, more than ever before, you've got so many amazing ways with this dashboard now to be able to see it all in visual format. Anything you wanted to add to that, Mark? I think that's really just a neat thing.
Well, and I always like to throw in here, what gets measured gets improved. So if you're measuring your loss reasons, then you can improve your loss reasons, because you can analyze trends and recognize trends. For sales rep Sally is losing a lot for timing. So because we're working our opportunities and we're being good about how we manage and lose and indicate what is happening, then from a high 35,000 feet view kind of level, we can quickly look for these trends and then better address those and get a better closure rate, because what gets measured does get improved.
Yeah. Let me answer one question. We want to stay on time because my friend Allison is asking a question. If I don't answer it for her, she's going to get mad at me because I know
Okay.
her. I'm just kidding, Allison. Can the opportunity list then populate a call list? So if you've got opportunities in a stage, can you use that to populate a call list?
It is, yeah. It's how you're looking at your opportunity list, because that opportunity list is your split screen. You could put that opportunity list in split screen mode, and it is that call list. So let me get to all right, let's try here.
It'll only take about 1 minute here, friends, and then we'll be done.
Yep. So here's our opportunity list we're used to doing. Split screen mode right there, right in the middle. Take my list, no matter what's in my pipeline, put it in my split screen mode, and let's call my opportunity list. Absolutely, that button right in the middle. Tabular, move it around. Split screen mode, call it. Report mode, analyze it.
That's great. That's excellent. Now, here's what we're going to do, friends. And Andy or Mark, tell me if this is not the right way to handle it. We've got about 15 or 20 questions that came in that we're not going to have time to get to. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to be able to export out of the attendees, and your questions will be matched up with your name. And so, Andy, if you're cool with it, what I'll do is I'll send that over to you. And then if you could have one of the consultants or a sales rep follow up with these people to answer the rest of these questions. Is that cool with you, Andy?
Perfect. That'll work perfectly.
All right. So Andy, why don't you sign us off? Glad to be here today, and I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, as usual, nothing really to add. You guys covered all the bases there perfectly. And there's just more coming. There's just a lot more we want to develop. So as Mark said, as you get in here, give us some suggestions and some feedback, and we look forward to taking this great new feature and making it even better. So thank you all for attending. Thank you, Ryan and Mark.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Be safe out there. And just remember, friends, if ad sales was easy, everybody be doing it. So we're either crazy, which is possible, or friends, we found careers that'll feed our family for a lifetime. So thank you, magazine manager. Thank you, newspaper manager. Mark Hurd, thank you for your expertise, and Andy for your expertise as well. And friends, if you enjoyed a webinar like this, please let your consultants know, your salespeople know, and we'll do more of these just like this in the future. If you're not a customer, reach out and we'll be sure to get you a demo of the software. All right, God bless you all, friends. Be safe out there, and we'll see you on our next webinar. Take care, friends. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks,
all right,
Ryan.
take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.